Welcome to DBMS course. In this video lecture, we are going to start unit number 2, SQL and PLSQL, structured query language and procedural language, structured query language. First, we cover characteristics of SQL, then SQL data types, data definition language, data manipulation language, data control language, transaction control language. Which are the characteristics of SQL? See, already we know we are going to use SQL for RDBMS. It means if I am going to use DBMS to create database, if I am going to use DBMS to create database, and if that DBMS comes in category RDBMS, I have to use SQL. That is structured query language. Now, which are the characteristics of SQL? First, SQL is easy to learn. Second, SQL is used to access data from relational database management systems. Third, SQL can execute queries against the database. SQL is used to describe the data. SQL is used to define the data in the database and manipulate it when needed. SQL is used to create and drop the database and table. SQL is used to create a view, stored procedure, function in a database. SQL allows users to set permissions on tables, procedures, and views. See, by using SQL, we are going to interact with database. By using SQL, we are going to insert data. By using SQL, we are going to access data. First, we design schema. It means we create relation, we create table by using SQL. We insert data row-wise by using SQL, and we access data, we modify data by using SQL. Advantages of SQL: simplicity, ease of extension, completeness, support for higher level languages, non-procedurally. SQL DML is non-procedural. DML stands for data manipulation language. SQL DML, we use different DML commands like insert, update, delete. These are the non-procedural. Then data independence, these are the advantages of SQL. SQL, structured query language, is a database management language for relational database. SQL itself is not a programming language, but its standard allows creating procedural extensions for it, which extend it to functionality of mature programming language. SQL is a domain-specific language used in programming and designed for managing data held in relational database management system or for stream processing in a relational data stream management system. There are 6 sub-languages in SQL. We are going to see one by one: DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, etc. etc. SQL is a database computer language designed for the retrieval and management of data in a relational database. SQL stands for structured query language. SQL is the standard language for relational database system. All the relational database management systems RDBMS like MySQL, MS Access, Oracle, Sybase, Informix, Postgres, and SQL Server use SQL as the standard database language. See, we are going to implement some assignments by using SQL. We are going to implement some assignment by using PLSQL, and we are going to implement some assignments by using MongoDB in DBMS lab course. So we should know what is SQL, which are the commands in SQL, how do we design schema by using SQL, how do we insert data, by using SQL, how do we update data, how do we delete data, how do we modify data. We should know all DDL, DML, DCL, TCL commands. Let us see one by one. First, SQL widely used non-procedural language. One of the example, query example: find the name of the customer with customer ID 192.83.7465. Now I am going to write one query by using SQL to find the name of the customer with customer ID 192.83.7465. See, for that I am going to use one statement, that is select statement. Select customer dot customer name from customer, where customer dot customer ID is equal to 192.83.7465. Now we are going to see select clause from, where, all these things we are going to see one by one. See, this is one example. Then application programs generally access databases through one of the language extensions to allow embedded SQL. Application program interface, example ODBC or JDBC, which allow SQL queries to be sent to a database. SQL data types. See, first we design schema. It means we are going to construct table. In that we are going to include number of attributes, number of column names, number of columns, number of attributes, and their data types. Now, which are the data types we can use? Character, fixed length character string, which user specified length in, then varchar, variable length character strings with user specified maximum length, int, integer, small integer, a machine dependent subset of the integer domain type, numeric, real, double precision, float. So these are some SQL data types we have to use. Then database languages. See, there are different database languages like data definition language, data manipulation language, data control language, and transaction control language. See, first, to design schema, we deal with DDL, data definition languages. In that, we are having commands like create, alter, drop, rename, comment, truncate. Now, by using create command, we are going to create relation table. In that, we are going to specify the number of columns, their name, it is attribute, data type, and by using DML, we are going to insert data, values, row wise in a table. That is a data manipulation language, insert. We use command insert. Then by using alter, we are going to alter the schema. We are going to alter the schema of relation. It means we are going to add some more columns, or we can delete the existing column. Then we use drop command. By using drop, we can drop the entire schema relation structure. Then by using rename, we can rename the column name. We use comment, we use truncate. By using truncate, we can delete only data. And by using drop, we can delete the entire table structure. By using truncate, we cannot delete entire table structure, only the values will be, records will be deleted. Then data manipulation language, in that we use different commands to manipulate data, that is select. See, by using select, we are going to fetch the records. We can fetch single record, or we can fetch all records at a time. Then insert, by using insert, we are going to insert data in database. We are going to update values by using update. We are going to delete particular record. We are going to delete particular value by using delete command. Then we use merge, call, explain plan, lock table. Then data control language. See, by using data control language, we are going to deal with database, and in that we use commands like commit, rollback, save point, transaction, we will see one by one. Then transaction control language, in that we use commands like grant and revoke. Data definition language. A data definition language is a special kind of language that used to specify the database schema by the set of definitions. DDL is also proposed. DDL is also proposed to specify the additional property of the data. There is a special type of DDL named as data storage definition language that specifies the storage structure and access methods used by the database system. See, by using DDL, see, we specify notation for defining database schema. Example, create table account number, character 10, comma, balance, integer. See, here account is the name of the relation, it means name of the table. Account number is one attribute whose data type is character. Balance is second attribute whose data type is integer. Now by using DDL, we are going to create table. And DDL compiler generates a set of tables stored in a data dictionary. Data dictionary contains data about data, that is a metadata. In that, database schema, data storage and definition language specifies the storage structure and access methods used. Then we specify different integrity constants by using DDL. In that, primary key, see, there are many integrity constants we specify. For example, primary key, see, we are going to make only one column in a table as a primary key. Duplicate values are not allowed in primary key. Null value is not allowed in primary key. And see, to make primary key constant, we are going to choose column in such a way that, see, that column values should be unique. See, we cannot take, for bank database, we cannot take customer name as a primary key because there might be two or more than two customers with same name. So take customer ID or the account number of the bank account number as a primary key. So it will be unique. In data manipulation language, here we use insert, update, delete language for accessing and manipulating the data organized by the appropriate data model. DML also known as query language. Two classes of languages, procedural and non-procedural. Procedural, user specifies what data is required and how to get those data. Non-procedural, user specifies what data is required without specifying how to get those data. Data manipulation language is a language that provides the facility to access or manipulate the data to the user. There are various types of access such as retrieval, insertion, modification and deletion of the information that is stored in the database. Now by DML we deal with only values. Whatever values we have inserted in row, that is records. We deal with only records. We don't deal with data, we don't deal with table structure. We don't deal with schema structure, table structure by using DML. By using DML, we deal with only values. Whatever values we have stored row-wise. DCL, data control language, provides the facility of the authorization in the database. All the commands used in DDL and DML can further be authorized with DCL. The drawback of DCL is that one cannot roll back the command as DCL allows only implicit commit. This mainly occurs in Oracle database. So on the commands of DCL are grant and revoke. Grant, it allows only specific user to perform a specific task. And revoke, it allows the cancellation of the previously granted permissions or the denied one. TCL, transaction control language, is used to manage the transactions in the database. The functions performed by DML are further managed by this language. It allows the statements to be grouped together into logical transactions. TCL performs the following tasks like commit, rollback, save point. Commit, it is used to save the transaction in the database. Now it is very important to save whatever transactions we have been doing, whatever transactions we have been performing. And see, commit is used to save the transaction in the database. Rollback, it is used to restore the database to the last committed state. And save point, it is used to store the transaction temporarily such that one can easily roll back to the transaction when needed. Thank you.